Hello everybody and welcome back to the Pole Position YouTube channel. First off, before I even start this video, thank you so much for all the support recently on the videos. It is fantastic. I'm really enjoying getting back to do these videos now, obviously before testing takes place and before the season starts for 2021. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody who's been watching the videos, and it'd be fantastic if you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. But in this video we are going to be talking about McLaren and in some of the news stories as well, talking about Daniel Ricciardo and if he's going to benefit the team this season and if McLaren can become more consistent race winners. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. So yes, can Daniel Ricciardo help McLaren this season? Now there's a few changes at McLaren for this year. Obviously we know the new driver lineup with Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Carlos Sainz, obviously after helping alongside Norris the team to get to P3 in the constructors, he's now gone to Ferrari alongside Charles Leclerc, and obviously the Australian of Ricciardo has joined McLaren after a couple of seasons at Renault. And not only is that one of the changes in terms of the drivers, they are switching to the Mercedes engine for this year as well. Again, after having a couple of seasons with the Renault engine, they've decided to go back to the McLaren Mercedes days, which obviously as a McLaren fan I'm extremely excited for, because obviously that's the last times really we've seen McLaren at the top of the podium. So yeah, obviously the Mercedes engine is going to benefit, and as McLaren fans out there, you will have seen the video of them firing the engine up for the first time, and obviously Zach Brown was there videoing it as well. A lot of people in the factory were there watching, so it's good to see that they're obviously getting everything ready for the unveiling and of course testing before the start of the season. Now, obviously, they've set the date. Before I go any further in terms of Daniel Ricciardo, they have set the date for their car unveil. And I think they're one of the early ones at the moment. Not everybody has announced their cars yet. Mercedes have just recently announced their when they're going to launch theirs, and that'll be Tuesday the 2nd of March. But McLaren are this month, they are in February, and they will be showing off their car on the 15th of February. So I said it's usually around Valentine's Day that the teams start to unveil their cars, and yeah, McLaren have decided to come out on the 15th of February around 7 o'clock UK time. So for everybody else who's watching around the world, you have to check the time restrictions or the time limits on everything, but it should be around 7 o'clock GMT. So yeah, keep an eye on for that, and I think it might be one of the first unveilings. So yeah, looking forward to that, and obviously hopefully Ricciardo and Norris will be there to answer questions as well. But yeah, so obviously that's another thing that's going to be happening as well. In terms of the actual team and in terms of the engine as well, they are saying McLaren are saying that they are on target and making sure everything is ready and set up for the unveiling, and obviously for making sure that the engine and the chassis and everything works together for the start of the season, because they did surprise a few people last year. Obviously we thought McLaren might be a bit better, but not to the extent that they would finish P3 in the constructors. Obviously we all thought Ferrari would be there, but we know what happened to them. They sort of fell off the cliff. Racing Point were looking to be one of the fastest in the test after winter testing, so obviously to beat them was great. And obviously Renault, who had a few podiums last year as well, for McLaren to beat them was an incredible achievement. So Andreas Seidel, who is obviously the team principal at McLaren, has gone on to say that it is a big task switching from the Mercedes power unit for this season, because obviously switching from Renault to Mercedes, both of them have different sizes. They might sit the different way in terms of the car, so it's not just a case of building the chassis a bit like you did last year and making sure the engine's in the right position. It will be a bit more difficult for them. But he's gone to say, I'm very happy with the progress we're seeing, and the relationship we've got with the team from Brixworth at Mercedes. We're starting on a very good basis. It's good dialogue and a technical exchange, so we're very happy with that going forward. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm excited as a McLaren fan. I think everybody knows I'm a McLaren fan. To have one of my favourite drivers in Daniel Ricciardo, and somebody that impressed me last year in Lando Norris, as well as the team having Mercedes engine, I think it's only going to help this year to progress even further. But can actually Daniel Ricciardo push them even more, not just with the new engine change for this season, but obviously the new driver. He's obviously a race winner. Carlos Sainz came close a couple of times last season. I think he was really close to catching Pierre Gasly at Monza. Obviously, for Pierre Gasly winning his first race at the Italian Grand Prix, nobody could complain apart from Sainz, who was that close to overtaking him at the end. But we all know Daniel Ricciardo is a race winner. He's had times in a top team, alongside Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen at Red Bull. And the team at McLaren have gone to say that he can push them even more. The squad of McLaren want to be a top team once again, and they think Daniel Ricciardo is going to help that. I think it was a couple of years ago when they went for Sainz that they tried to go for Daniel Ricciardo at the same time, and obviously he joined Renault. But Zach Brown always felt that the time might come again when Daniel Ricciardo would choose McLaren. I think they obviously went on to say about Carlos Sainz and how he did a fantastic job at McLaren, and of course he did. He really helped cement that P3 in the constructors. But they've gone on to say the technical director James Key has said the replacement can fill the gap very well in terms of Daniel Ricciardo. It's great to have Daniel on board, having worked with him in the past. I know he'll bring new and different opinions and the ways of working to the team. Different ways of working for the team. So there's a gap to fill, but we've got a great guy to fill it. And absolutely right. I think he will bring great experience. Like I said, he is a race winner. Obviously, we know he's a big personality off the track as well. He's one of the funnier guys in the sport, and I think him and Norris are really going to be great teammates together. I think they'll make some fantastic videos for the McLaren marketing team. So yeah, that'll help them from their side. So he's gone on to say he's a great character out of the car as well as in, and he'll bring a great deal of experience and a huge amount of determination. And I think that's another thing, is that obviously we say how he's a great guy off the track and he's a race winner, but he's also determined to get back to the top and back to actual race winning again. So I think he's only going to help McLaren, because that's obviously what McLaren want to do. Bringing him on board is, for me, only going to help. He's incredibly determined when he's racing, and I think with his experience and his confidence, we can bring ourselves to be more of a race winner. And I think we've obviously, this is the final year really of before the huge regulation changes. So I think if McLaren can actually reach the heights this season, and then obviously go on in terms of the 2022 rule changes, even better. I think obviously that everyone's aiming really for 2022, but if you can establish yourself in the final year for this year with the sort of usual rules, then absolutely fantastic. It's only going to get better, hopefully, from there. I think we still think Mercedes are going to be the front runners. Red Bull probably will be second as well, especially with Sergio Perez there alongside Verstappen as well. But I think McLaren can really put on a sort of challenge this season to hopefully battle with Red Bull, and I'd love to see Norris and Ricciardo up there. Obviously, like we said, we don't know where Aston Martin are going to be. Are Renault going to be even better, especially with alongside Fernando Alonso? So I think that mid-table teams up to the top is actually really going to be tasty this season, and I'm actually looking forward to that, because I think there's so many good mid-table teams, and obviously the drivers in there as well, that they can really make the sport even better. Obviously, I think a lot of the enjoyment in the sport recently has been their mid teams fighting and battling against each other, and I think the fact that they've took all of them really have took a next step up, the next step up to fight Mercedes and Red Bull. I think it's only going to be better, and hopefully we get to see more race winners this time around. So ultimately, do I think Daniel Ricciardo is going to be a better fit at McLaren? Yes, I do. I think he's going to obviously bring a lot of determination to get back up to the top, not just for himself, but obviously for McLaren as well. He'll want to win races going forward with this team, and I think that if everyone gets everything right in the team, in terms of the engine, the chassis, and obviously the drivers, I think it could be a great fit for the whole team. So yeah, I think alongside Norris next season, we could see more podiums, hopefully race wins as well. But I think obviously going into 2022, that's where McLaren should be aiming for. But I think for this season as well, like I said, if they can get a few more podiums and even possibly a race win, that will be fantastic as a McLaren fan. So yes, I think Daniel Ricciardo is going to bring a lot to the team. What do you think? Do you think he's going to be a great fit? Obviously they're going to miss Carlos Sainz this season, but I think Daniel Ricciardo will be a fantastic replacement. And where do you think McLaren are going to finish? Do you think they're going to beat Aston Martin, Ferrari maybe? Or Renault? I say Renault, it's Alpine for this season. I have to try and remember that. Where do you think they're all going to finish at the end of this year? Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.